Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another no-buy update and another reminder that I need to do my ADHD paperwork. We have a few updates with regards to the no-buy. I broke it again, but not on makeup. I did not break it on makeup this time. I bought a few things like clothing items that I wanted for like loungewear because I realized that this whole year has gone by and I've basically been wearing the same pair of pants over and over and over again, and I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna buy another pair of pants or a few pairs of pants and some more bras and tops, like comfy tops, which I didn't need. On the plus side, I've started noticing what has been triggering my overspending and just what's been pushing me to turn to like spending and retail therapy as therapy. And it's essentially just stress. It's like any moment of like extreme stress in my life where I feel like I'm not in control of things, it pushes me towards like buying things and doing essentially what is within my control, which is spending my own money, quote unquote my own money. So essentially this year has turned into more of a low buy than it is a no buy because I broke it back in February and then I broke it again in April, which is fine. Like, I'm not mad at myself about it, but like I'm still in an okay position. Like, I'm still achieving the goals that I set out for myself this year, which is to get into a better financial situation, which is happening. Like, I'm really close to paying off both of my visas, and I didn't really have much on them to begin with, but I'm getting to a point where I'm not so worried about looking into my bank account anymore, which was one of my big goals for this year, was to become more financially stable, and that's happening. Regardless of whether I've like broken my no buy or not, I'm still achieving that goal, which I'm super happy about. I'm starting to recognize that pattern in myself of whenever I go into this like spending craze, like I'm noticing the triggers, the things that set me off, and I can easier fight against those things. Basically right now what's triggering it is that I have to move in July. My partner and I are moving in together in July, and we're not really sure where we're gonna be going to, and the process of trying to find a new place and that like initial upheaval of your lifestyle and coming to terms with the fact that like what you know now will not be what you know in July, and that just stresses me out. The idea of that like upheaval in my life and that change just really stresses me out, and like the lack of control that I have with pricing and budget and not knowing where, essentially that's what's stressing me out the most, is I don't know where I'm gonna go. Like, we haven't found a place yet. We don't know exactly what our budget is gonna be. We're waiting a little bit to find out, but like at this point, when I'm filming this, I've already found a person to take over my lease for the apartment that I'm in at the moment. So I know that I'm leaving because I'm giving the apartment to somebody else, but I don't know where we're gonna go. We found an apartment that I absolutely love and adore, but I'm just hoping that they'll be able to like reduce the price come June. They've already reduced the price from like $1,800 to $1,500, and that's already like a big thing, but it's still over budget because it's without utilities or anything. So there's been the anxiety around that because it's essentially like my dream apartment, and because it's over our budget, like we can't really afford it. And I'm like, my heart is essentially breaking. Like, I feel anxiety around like losing it, and I need to kind of just let go of that. But that's essentially what's been stressing me out and pushing me towards this like, oh, I need to spend money because I can't achieve this fantasy that I've created for myself in my mind around this apartment. I can achieve that fantasy with other things in my life, which is clothing and spending. So that's essentially why I did what I did. But still, again, I'm in an okay position. I didn't spend as much as I thought I was going to, or at least as much as I spent last time I went over the rails, off the rails, over the cliff, off the rails. And I was selective. When I started buying things, I was very selective about the things that I needed and wanted. It was only like literally things that I absolutely wanted and knew that I was going to keep for a really long time. All of the things that I bought were from sustainable brands, which is one of the things that I cut myself off of fast fashion, so I don't buy anything from fast fashion anymore. All of these things were from like sustainable fashion brands, so I was happy about that. I'm realizing this video is like kind of all over the place. Like, my brain is it's been a long day. But yes, I'm very excited for almost having paid off my visa. Like, there's a few more larger chunk payments that I need to do, which are within the realm of possibility. Like, by the time July comes and we need to move into a new place, I'll be fine. Like, I'll have paid my visas off, and that is just amazing for me. Like, I'm so excited. I can't wait. That was like my biggest goal this year, was to be able to pay off my visas. I'm so happy. So when this is all over, when the new year comes around, because I'm gonna try and stick as close to the no buy as I still can for the rest of this year. We're only like 4 months of the way through the year anyway. I'm gonna forgive myself here and there where I do slip up, but my plan is to not slip up. If we can continue with the low buy rather than the no buy, then that's what will make me very happy. But come the new year, I think based on the patterns that I'm now seeing with my behavior in this year, I can go forward into the next year and develop a kind of purchasing plan or spending plan for myself, whether it be every season or every month, whatever it is. I can develop for myself a reasonable spending plan that is within my budget for each month or each season or whatever it is. And then the rest of the time is just like a very strict no buy, which I think is achievable for me. I think it is achievable. That will probably be my next project for the year. We'll see how well I can stick to that. I'm excited to try that again in the next year and see like how I can do with actual budgeting of my spending. I'm noticing a lot that there are periods of time where I'm totally fine. There's periods of time when I don't feel the compulsion to spend anything. Like, I'm totally fine just like sitting on my couch and playing video games, and I do not feel any kind of compulsion to buy anything. Like, regardless of what I've wanted, what I have on my wish list, or things that I've been tempted to buy in the past, I just don't feel the need to. And then there comes these times of high stress where all of a sudden I'm just down that rabbit hole and I look at all of those things that were on my wish list before, and some things I get rid of. Like, some things just do not draw me anymore. Like, I'm not interested in those things anymore. So I like purge them from the wish list. But then there's other things that I wanted for a long, long time that I will like, in those periods of high stress, I'm like, just buy the thing, it'll make me feel better, just buy the thing. And it does make me feel better. I'm noticing that as well, that buying things does make me feel better. Maybe not in the long run, but in the short term, it does make me feel better. It gives me that boost of dopamine, of serotonin that I'm missing, which again, reminder, I need to do my ADHD paperwork so I can actually get an official diagnosis and get medication. So maybe I won't have these issues anymore. Another thing that I did that's been super helpful and allowed me to kind of not ration the things that I have, but be aware of everything that I have, is I've taken stock of like all of the makeup palettes, like the eyeshadow palettes that I have. There's a lot, but I've taken stock of basically all of them, and I have a list and I have tallies for how often I've used them all, which is cool because like I can make sure that it's almost, I use it as an excuse to like use each one of them once and then not use that one again until I've gone through all of them. And I use my Alexa to give me like random numbers between however. Sorry, I didn't say anything. Yes, I know. Alexa, stop! So I basically get my Alexa to give me a random number, and that random number is assigned to a palette within my collection, and that's the one that I use for the day. So it's like, I look forward to that randomness every single day, where it's like, ooh, what am I gonna use today? It's like shopping within my own collection, and then like someone's giving me something to use and I have to like extend my creativity on that day. So it's exciting. Like I genuinely get excited to use my palettes every day when I get to like choose a random number and like have it be like a surprise every single day. Like, what am I gonna look like today? And from that, I've developed this like palette series that I've been doing on Instagram. I think I'm on like 12 or 13 now, where every time that I get that random number and I get to choose that random palette every day, I will post a look on Instagram using that palette. And it challenges me. It challenges me to go through all of my palettes and make sure I've used all of them, and to figure out what I love and what I don't like about each one, whether like all of them bring me joy or if there's any that I'm willing to part with. I get excited about using them in this capacity and creating the series that I have on Instagram, using all of them. Like, it makes me so happy. And just from using all of my palettes that I have and getting so familiar with them, I'm getting better at fighting the FOMO and realizing like when my favorite palette or when my favorite brands release new things, there's that initial lurch in my chest and my heart that like, oh, I need to buy that thing. Like lately, the most recent have been the Musée Beauty Rococo palette, just because that brand, that theming, I'm weak to it. And then also the Kaleidos Flower Punk one, that new palette that looks like a melt palette. It's just, I love Kaleidos's formula, and I love that it's just flower themed. The colors are beautiful, but it really challenged me to go into my collection and look at all of the palettes that I already have and to see like, what can I dupe from this? Like, do I have these palettes? Do I need them? Like, it pushes me to ask myself these questions like, do I really need this? Like, I know these are my absolute favorite brands, but do I need this in my life? Like, am I not happy and excited about using what I already have? Why do I need more? So it's a balance. Like, there's always that feeling that I get in my chest when my favorite brands release new things, because it's like, oh, they're my favorite, I need to have everything from them. And there's a part of me that definitely wishes I hadn't spent so much on like ColourPop stuff in the beginning of this, like, no, I almost said affliction. In the beginning of this, my discovery of the love that I have for makeup, I bought so much ColourPop, I like wish that I'd taken a step back and really assessed what was in the market and what was available, and realized like what were my favorite brands from the get-go, so that I wouldn't have spent money on what was not my favorite. I just wish I would have made wiser decisions at the beginning, but I didn't, and here we are. So it's been a balancing act. I feel like I'm succeeding regardless of the mistakes that I've made, the slip-ups that I've had where I've purchased when I shouldn't have. I still feel like I'm successful. I feel like I'm accomplishing the goals, or on my way to accomplishing the goals that I've set out for myself within this no buy. I'm learning to love the things that I have regardless of what else I'm bringing in. I feel good. I feel hopeful. I feel good. This has been a good time, and we'll see when the next update's going to be, but that's essentially it. That's all that I wanted to talk about and update you on. That I've slipped up a few times, but I still feel like this is successful. I still feel good about it, and we're gonna keep going. Even though this is not really a no buy anymore, it's more of a low buy. We're continuing on. We're doing it. This is successful. We're good. I'm good. I'm good. I swear I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I know it seems like I only update you whenever I've slipped up out of like some sense of guilt or something, but trust me, I don't feel guilty. I love everything that I bought and I wear them all the time. This like bra thing is like one of the things that I bought from Mary Young. I love it. I love it so much. It's very comfortable. But yeah, that is it. As always, thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this experience, throughout all of my shenanigans. I appreciate you. If you like this content, if you want to see more of it, please hit that subscribe button down below. If you like this video in particular, give it a thumbs up. It'll make me very happy. It'll make my algorithm hopefully happy. Thank you for sticking with me, and I will see you in the next video.